I have a very short tolerance for people who are clowny. There's a lot of people on YouTube that are clowny. I accumulated nearly 40,000 in funded gains, but I withdrew 26 into cash.
That's awesome. I've cracked the code. I'm going to be rich.
And no, the next week they were gone. With the advent of prop firms, of course, where you're not risking as much of your own capital, it takes the edge off of getting barely above the payout status and then losing everything.
We're here to make money. It's work. Don't get me wrong. We all love to trade, but there's work to be done.
I know on my bad days, it's not the system's fault. It's the guy in the mirror. I'm clinically stubborn. I will not let this beat me.
All right, everybody. I'm here with Eric today, member of the Drysdale Trading Group. He's been with us for a little bit now. He's been with us for about 8 months, and he's been doing really well in his prop firm trading accounts. He's to date, I believe he told me he's taken out about 40K in profits from those prop firm accounts. So we're going to learn a little bit about Eric today. He's going to tell us a little about his trading journey. He's going to tell us about what it was like for him in the beginning. He's going to tell us what's started to work for him and how he's currently trading. So I'm really excited. Eric, so nice to meet you.
It's great to be here. I'm tickled that you reached out to me, and hopefully I can add some value to the community and give some people some tips and maybe help them avoid some of my pitfalls.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure they're excited to see this, and as soon as somebody's getting some success, everybody kind of really likes to know what's going on behind the scenes. So maybe just to break the ice a little bit, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you a little bit, your background, maybe your profession, so we can understand what that background is like.
Sure. My handle, my screen name is Eric in OC. I live in Orange County, California, and been married to my lovely wife now for 35 years.
Congratulations.
I'm a marketing professional by trade, so I do have a full-time job. I did try to trade full-time in 2025, but that didn't work out quite as well as I wanted it to. And I got another position with a firm where I lead their product marketing organization. And I've been doing that for quite a while. Like I said, most of my career has been in marketing. I've dabbled in trading the markets for, more than 10 years. My degree in college was in finance, so I always had an interest in the markets. Thought I would become a stockbroker, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. And but I treated it as like a hobby. Managed our portfolio in the 90s, did pretty well until the dot-com bubble burst. So I was left holding some ashes.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Moved on from there and went into tried my hand at trading options and did quite a while of that. Got mentored by some pretty good folks that knew what they were doing, and I saw some success, but it wasn't anything that I could keep repeating. But I kept doing that for years, and then I would say, I don't know, you probably have a better memory than I do, but probably 4 years ago, futures trading started to really, the light shifted from options to futures.
Sure did.
And
yep.
I was like, what are these futures all about?
I'd say 2022 was when people really started to catch the joke there.
So I got attracted to it, started learning more about it, and realized, well, with the advent of prop firms, of course, where you're not risking as much of your own capital, it takes the edge off of the inherent risk. They're such a highly leveraged instrument, and they can be so volatile. Mm-hmm. I dabbled in futures, I don't know, years ago. I got handed a plate of regret. So
sure.
I always had a perception of futures that there was just super risky. And I think prop firms have taken the edge off of that. So I just went full time into futures trading.
That's awesome. So I love that you have a marketing background. I also have a marketing background for many,
you had an agency,
years.
Didn't you?
I did. Yeah. Yep. Social media. And it's funny too, because I've always loved finance. My father was on Wall Street. My brother manages a hedge fund. And here I am, the marketer. I felt like the black sheep. And now here I am. I've joined their ranks. They were more on the institutional side, but obviously I focus on the retail side, but I've kind of arrived. So it's kind of exciting. Dinner's a lot more exciting now. We can talk shop a little more.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's been awesome. So you started, you traded some options. You had some ideas on futures and how they could be super risky. And generally, that's the nature of leverage, right? So if you don't respect the leverage, it comes back to bite you. So that's generally the lesson there. How did you find us? Tell me a little bit about how you were trading futures before you found us, what you were trying, maybe different strategies, and how you found us.
That's a great question. I don't know. Probably
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.
Okay.
Honestly, I spend a lot of time just doing my own learning, searching for my edge.
Mm-hmm.
That was the journey, I would say, from 2022 through 2025. I would say late 2025, mid-year. Tried to follow people. I have a very short tolerance for people who are clowny. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people on YouTube that are
Yeah,
clowny.
there are.
And so I tried those trading rooms and didn't like what I was being subjected to.
Mm-hmm.
I fell into a group that I'm still a part of because I did take one of their master classes, and it gave me lifetime privileges. So
Sure.
I'm still a part of that group. I don't go on that group for much in terms of trading skills. I've found that I've learned more from your group and your coaching
Mm-hmm.
than the prior 2 years of that other group. But because I have privileges, they're still in there.
Why not? Sure.
So I would say YouTube, and what I really was looking for during my journey was I'm pretty simple. I'm a simple guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love how you beat on some of the more complicated trading systems and
Mm-hmm.
indicators up the wazoo on your
Mm-hmm.
chart, and just like, no, you can simplify it. And I knew all about, well, I didn't know all about it, but I knew of VWAP
Sure.
and using that as a chart indicator, but I could never make sense of it. I was like, well, it's an interesting line, but what?
Right.
And then even I would say here in on your live stream, I would say for me, your course isn't enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
What was enough for me was seeing you in action,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
seeing you do it. That was it. I was like, okay, it is this simple.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I like simple things. I like simple things that can be repeated, that don't require a lot of interpretation. For example, this other trading room that I'm a part of, they do the first 15-minute range breakouts.
The orb. Yeah.
Orb. That's all a buzz on the internets right now.
It really
Everybody's doing
is
the orb.
interesting. I mean, it's been around for forever.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that it's gained so much popularity recently.
Yeah. And so
I think people do like the simplicity of it. I think that is kind of attractive, and they can break down the statistics to it so simply. I think that's the attraction.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It has benefit, but I also find sometimes it requires a little bit of subjective interpretation.
Right.
I would also say I've seen you apply a little bit of subjective interpretation on the VWAP
Absolutely.
Wave. Just your intuition, your knowledge, your feel, right? There is always some part of that, but with the orb strategy, I just couldn't make it work for me. I'm like, man, this isn't my fit. And then I fell into probably just looking on YouTube, looking for more learning. Who can I maybe consume some content from? And I find Drysdale. I'm like, well, who is this guy, right? So I start consuming some videos, and then tried out I think you have at the time you had a free trial, like a 7-day trial. I'm like, well, I'll do that. And during those 7 days, I'm like, okay, I think this has legs. I think your style, the system that you promote and you write about and that you follow, was easy to understand. And I was seeing you work it in real time. And so there was a check the box on credibility, check the box on simplicity, that, I'm a knucklehead. So if I can understand it, I could probably give it a try. And that free trial gave me exposure that I thought, all right, this makes sense. So let's jump in on this, and let's give it more than just that 1 week. And I haven't looked back.
I love it. So, and it's definitely a little more complex than, say, an orb strategy, but I think what the orb really lacks is the market context. When you really start to understand the principles behind auction market theory and how the market is in different stages and states, the real crux becomes understanding the state we're in, right? And then applying the proper setup. How long do you think it took you to start really digesting that? Because I have a theory that it takes people about 3 months to really wrap their heads around it. I think they could see it in action and get bought into the system. And I mean that in a good way. Like they believe in, okay, this works, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can buy into this concept and I can see it working. The setup's working. But from that point of where you're convinced that the system has legs to the point where you're really beginning to understand it and execute it, I know you might not have a specific timeline, but how long do you think it took you to really start digesting that?
It feels about right. 2 to 3 months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure, but immediately I was still following, like observing, not following trades, but observing what you were doing, trying to understand it, consuming some of the coursework that's part of the membership, and charting, just watching the charts, and then seeing like my reaction on a daily basis still is, I'll be darned, it worked.
It happened a couple of times today, didn't it?
A couple times today.
Yeah.
And then one of the times, what I don't have all the terminology, but price action went all the way up to the lower line on NQ from the second deviation, went all the way up, and you were like, I've been waiting, and you held it. It was from the Madonna trade today.
It was.
And you were holding it long. You were like, I'm going to keep a run. I'm going to hold it long. It's going to blow through. Yeah. But that normally would have been a turnaround point.
Right.
And I think it had already turned around once earlier in the trading session, and now the Madonna was starting to move it up. And anyway, I was like, today, like on that turnaround, like I'll be darned, it worked. I didn't take that trade,
right?
But it worked.
I always find regretting not taking trades that set up properly. Kind of overriding my. There is certainly some discretion that can be applied, but I almost, if I just take the setups as they materialize, it's almost better, and it either works or it doesn't. And just chalking it up to, well, that time it didn't work, I'll take the next time,
Sure.
So.
And I had that experience a couple times this week, actually, where I'm just like, for me, okay, one of the hardest parts for me, and maybe other traders can relate to this, and you talked about this in your webinar last night.
I'd like to do a quick pause here. If you're serious about becoming a consistently profitable trader and you want more than just free content, the Drysdale Inner Circle is where I work directly with traders at a much higher level. This is for traders who want structure, accountability, deeper system training, personalized feedback, and a real plan to improve, not just more random information. So if that sounds like you, be sure to get on the Inner Circle waitlist now. Spots are limited when I open it back up, and the waitlist gets first priority. Be sure to check the link in the description and put your name on it.
The price is just freight train going straight up.
Right.
And I'm like, it's going to keep going straight up, but it hits one of those VWAP lines of whoop.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like we know where the sellers and buyers are going to step in.
Right. And
now,
so
whether it continues, that's the big question. But we know when they're kind of going to have they're going to try.
Yeah. And so a couple times this week, I just like, the heck with it. I'm just going to press sell. And again, like I'm getting more trust. It just takes me a little longer probably. But I think the other thing too is I've been burned by either trying my own system and methodology or following somebody else's system and methodology. And there's so much behind a system that is psychological. And that's what I tell people when they reach out to me on Discord, because they ask, like, what are you doing? How are you getting success? And I say, look, how I do what I do is me. You need to find how you do what you do. And not everything fits copy paste because we all have what's in our head. I'm trying to break some of those demons, but I've been burned so many times in the past with probably usually my own fault that it's hard for me to just have that trust. And so, but I've found that the more I trust, just be patient. Like you said a couple times this week, I've been waiting all morning for this setup, right? Here it is. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
And then it works, and it works spectacularly. So it's part of that just trust. And it's taken me a little bit of time to get more confident with the trust, but also I've been sizing down. Been sizing way down. Enter with 1 micro, 2 micros, layer in. I had to do that today with a setup that it wasn't a VWAP Wave setup. It was another setup that I saw, and I went in, I think with 1, and it went against me. So I went in, I got another one. I wound up having to size, just keep going in but I believed in where the price was going to curl back around. It just went against me too. But that methodology of going in a little small so you can size in a little later has helped me. and I've had great success with such small position sizes. Whereas in the past, I would have gone in with a 50K account with trading a mini.
Right. And the nice part about layering in is that you don't have to be so precise. You know,
Yeah.
it allows you to, build an average size position at a location, and doesn't always play off to the tick. And sometimes it does. It's wonderful. It plays off enough times to the specific level.
Sure.
It makes us think it should do that. But sometimes it comes a little early. Sometimes it comes a little through it, overshoots it. So
yeah.
Once you understand that, you can definitely start building it. So you're sizing down. What size accounts are you typically trading, and what firms are you trading with?
I usually use 150. I'm sorry. I usually use 50Ks.
Okay.
I do have a Tradeify 150, but the rest of them are 50Ks. The firms, so I have 50K prop account firms with Top One, Apex, Take Profit, and Trade, and then I've got a 150K with Tradeify. I traded successfully with Legends last calendar year. And they quickly moved me. I think you get like 3 payouts, and then they're like,
and they're done. Moving you. Yeah.
They move me. And so I'm with a broker. And so I had 5 accounts with Legends. They collapsed those into one brokerage account with a 10K drawdown. So it basically works like 5 50Ks.
Okay. Got it.
You typically have 2K drawdown and a 50K. Typically, I have an account balance of 10K that is used as a buffer. I can't withdraw it, but it's the buffer margin. So I'm accumulating that. So I've got that brokerage account, which is a live money account. And then I've got 5 with Top One, 5 with Take Profit, 5 with Apex, and then 150 with Tradeify.
Nice. And are there any specific types of setups that you look for? Do you prefer continuation? Do you do well in balanced markets? Do you trade both? Tell me a little bit about your style.
This is another thing I learned from you is recognizing a balanced market and then having the confidence to trust the range, right? When we're balanced and we're just ranging for a period of time. Now I won't take it forever. I won't keep taking those trades.
Overstay your welcome.
Yeah, your voice in my head is like, it works till it doesn't.
Yeah.
and when it doesn't, sometimes you can just get crushed. But recognizing on a chart that price is just doing a sine wave. So trust it, give it a try. But I don't go in deep with those, like 1 or 2 at the most. And I'm only looking for maybe a retracement to the midline. So I learned that from you on how to trade that type of a time period in
Wonderful.
Most days we have a time period like that.
Whether it's a micro distribution or a larger one, for sure. Yep.
I'm a perma bear. I love
I knew I liked you. Same.
I'll look at the days I get burned is on one of these freight trains up.
Just going straight up. Yep.
But go straight up, and I'm like,
I want to short it. It's got to go back down.
Get destroyed on those days. I just don't trade bull markets well. Get me like a day like today. It's weird because if you could flip the chart upside down, it's the same chart pattern.
Yeah, you kind of can. I think there's an inverse feature on TradingView. See how it works for you.
Yeah. I've seen people do that. But but it was weird because I'm a perma bear. Today I had total confidence when I saw a retracement. I'm like, I'm selling, and it worked. I had a great day today. I can't change my psychology to do the same thing on a bull market.
It's crazy. And we find it the complete opposite with longs, right?
Yeah.
Chuck is very similar. He loves to go long. He's working very hard and learning how to short, and he did well today.
Yeah, he did good job.
It's that psychology. It's real. It's absolutely 100% real. So but I guess go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say my style, I don't like to be in the market very long.
So you're more of a scalper.
Yeah, I'm very much. I don't like holding for very long, and I'll anybody who wants to ask me more about that, I'd be like, check out the wicks this week in the NQ.
Right.
That's why. I mean, even today, out of the blue, there's like 50-point candle. You're like, if you're on the wrong side of that, you're just wrecked.
Yeah.
Even with a stop loss, you just get maxed on your stop loss, and I don't like that. And with the current environment, with politics, the world stuff and the economy, and just a tweet out of the blue can just spike the market or crush the market. So I like to get in, get out. I've become comfortable with 5, 10, 15 points. I've more so, I will take 5 points or 10 points, and then I'll leave 1 or 2 runners if I've got a position size that accommodates that. And the good news is with this market, the way it's been behaving over the past month or two at a minimum, if you catch a move, there is usually a deep or high follow through. And that runner can just pay dividends. But I've already captured my profit, and my stop loss is now moving automatically with how I've set up my NinjaTrader positions.
Love it.
So I've learned it suits me. I'm in, I'm out quickly. Most of my trade holds are in seconds, not minutes. If I'm in
Sounds familiar.
If I'm in the market for a minute or more, I'm like, oh no, there's a tweet coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's music to my ears. I do believe that the bigger opportunity in futures, especially prop firms, is scalping. It's a lot easier to figure out what's going to happen in the next couple of minutes than the next hour, 2 hours. And if you really want to catch big moves, then I don't think day trading is the better way to do it. I think swing trading, maybe with equities, maybe not with all the leverage, right? Let the market do the work. So if you are going to day trade and you are going to sit in front of the screens for a couple hours of the day and try and make money, I do believe scalping is the easier, softer way in a lot of ways, but some people don't feel they're geared toward it. And there's opportunities to catch bigger moves, but you have to be a lot more patient and you have to be ready to lose a lot more trades
and you have to size accordingly, right? I can go in, like when I'm in, what do they call it? A flow state. And I had a week, I had a day this week where I really felt like I understood the market. I was able to dance with the market a little bit. And that doesn't happen very often for me. But I can feel it when it's happening. I'm like, okay, I've got it. And now I can maybe go in not with 2 or 3 MNQ, but more like 5 or even 10 MNQ, because I'm only looking for 5 points, 5 or 10 points.
Right.
And when my philosophy has been to scale my returns with quantities of funded accounts. So if I get $50 across 20 accounts, that's a good day. Yeah. I'm fine with that day. Yeah. So, it takes a while to accumulate a payout with that. That's the downside.
Right.
But just chipping away at it is fairly easy, and you don't have to be in the market very long. So for my psychology, because this is me, right? For my psychology, I want to get in and I want to get out. I want to capture 5, 10 points, maybe get a runner if I've caught it right. But if it just gets me 5 points and stops me out on the rest, I'm cool with that. I got 5 points.
Look for the next trade. And there will be another trade. And probably you won't have to wait all that long.
No. And that's what I like about your system, and just trading basically trading price action at key levels. That's kind of how I describe it to people who ask, like, what do I do? We're looking for key levels and we're trading the price action, right? We're using I'm using my experience in the market, the candle behavior. Sometimes you can tell it's going to blow right past this. You can just tell it's got momentum.
Are you using any tools like Tick Strike or anything like that? Or
I'm watching your monitor.
pure just price action. Do you use the Delta at all? Are you using that? Okay.
No, I've tried, but like what is it? The Delta on TradingView you mentioned isn't accurate.
But if you have NinjaTrader, it's on NinjaTrader.
I think I have to pay up for it. That's what I looked into it, and
the prop firm ones probably, yeah.
Yeah, I have to level up my account, and I haven't done that. I could, but I haven't done that yet.
But if it's working for you, it doesn't really matter, does it? That's generally, why add something if things are working currently. So there's no reason to change the edge.
Yeah, I find trading a reversal at a price level that has better than average odds of being a place where price will reverse. That's
even just temporarily.
Again, because I'm only looking for 5 or 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Typically, and
you just need buyers or sellers to step in for the very short term.
Exactly. 10 seconds. That's all you need.
Yep. So tell me about how you're trading these accounts. You mentioned copy. Are you copy trading all of these accounts? Do you do them in groups? How is that working for you?
So I've done both.
Okay.
I no longer trade them all together.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You can imagine how that worked
It's a
out.
lot of pressure.
Well, it's a lot of pressure, and I find the thing that I couldn't handle was
Hmm.
was um, like, even if I take a $300 loss per account on 20
Yeah.
accounts,
Hmm.
that number is sitting there in the trading console
So
showing you
you don't have to even do the mental gymnastics.
you're
It's
six
right there
thousand
for you.
dollars down. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a lot, and then there's pressure. So I've I've blown up so many quantities of 20 accounts at a
Yeah.
time. It's embarrassing.
Hmm.
So now what I've learned is there's two things that was wrong with that. One
Hmm.
was trading them all together is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And secondly, I was also using too much size. I
Hmm.
think nowadays, because I use less size, I'm going in with usually it's 5 MNQ. And if I'm not confident, it's down to 1 or 2. I mean, if I'm really not sure about this particular position on the chart, and what the price action's doing, yeah, I'm going in much more hesitantly, and I'm okay with that. If I get 10 points, it's $20. It's fine. Um, I count it as a win, and a win to me is better than a loss
Hmm.
because it helps my psychology, helps my
Sure.
confidence, and now I've got a better batting average, and I can start to trust myself. The sizing up will come, but when I was using too much position and trading all of the accounts in one block, it was dangerous. So now I
Mm.
take them usually like 5 at a time. Get a little ahead, like today, for example. Today I chose a block to start with, and I took an early easy position. I think I got $35 per account. I'm like, right. And then I waited, sat on my hands, waited for price action to develop, waited for a key level to appear, and scalped some more. And I think I got those accounts up to a little over $100.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, good. Turned them off, grabbed 5 more, and then looked for another couple setups.
Hmm.
And I got all my accounts to about $100 today. And I was like, all right, I'm not done. And I
Hmm.
pulled up my Apex accounts. I'm like, let's try to play with Apex a little bit. Let's see what I
Hmm.
can do here. And I left all the other accounts alone, but I really leaned into Apex, and I wound up getting my Apex accounts up to, I think, like $335 today per.
Nice.
Um, and one of those positions was a little dicey. I was like, well, maybe this is the last day for my Apex account,
Yeah.
but it wound up working out. But see, if I lost my Apex accounts today, it was only 5.
Yeah.
I can get
Not
them back.
the whole kit and caboodle.
Exactly.
Right. So not only are you diversifying your risk by using prop firms, but you're compounding by using multiple accounts, but also grouping them to diversify your risk. So there's a lot of factors at play here, and
Mm-hmm.
I like that you do that a lot. I think it's good on the psyche. I think it allows you to experience wins and losses. The losses, are going to come, but they don't dramatically affect your progress, and you have a lot of things in your back pocket, and you're making progress in other accounts. So it gives you room to mess up because it's impossibly perfect.
Well, and the reality that anybody knows who can navigate a spreadsheet is if you have just 5 accounts that you can work to payout status on a 50K, you generally have to make between 2 and 2,500 before you can start qualifying for payouts. But let's just call it 2,000, just for round figures. If you can get to the 2,000, and then you can keep accumulating gains on a monthly basis, if you can get 2,000, that's 10. If you have 5 accounts, that's $10,000. That's not bad.
No.
And so I look at that and go, that I'm good if I can just keep 5 of these things. Now, the peril is that if I get close with those 5 and then lose them, and get close with another 5 and then lose them, I'm never getting a payout status. And that was my journey in 2025. My journey in 2025 was getting close, getting barely above the payout status, and then losing everything. And I would blame it on um, wanting to get too far too fast. And the way we all do that is by using too many contracts.
Yep. Did you ever find that, because I had similar experiences too. I would have 5, 10, 20 accounts, and I'd get them almost to payout status. Maybe I even got them to payout status, but I'd have a trade that went terribly wrong, and I just would refuse to cut it because I was so close, or I was in payout that I had one account. I had 5 accounts. It was a $10,000 payout. And I took a bad trade, and I refused to cut it. I was willing to let that whole 10 grand go or nothing. It was one or the other. And you know what happened. I don't have to tell you the rest of the story.
I've done that recently.
Yeah. Right. So,
it's a demon.
It is. And, and the funny part is, as kryptonite-esque as that happens, there's a lot of parts of that personality that makeup that allows you to push the risk in such a way to make trading work for you as well. So I don't want people to be too confused because it's that risk-taking nature, but still being good enough to link accounts and get payouts that's allowed you to see this success at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you. Firstly, I would say I have a high risk tolerance. I'm not afraid of failure. These are psychological things. If somebody has a lower risk tolerance and is afraid of failure, well, then they need to find their own way of trading.
Right.
And I'm clinically stubborn. I will not let this beat me. I've made a pact. I'm like, no, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so if I have to keep coming back at it and keep fighting it, I will. And that was my journey in 2025. Yeah. And 2024 and 2023.
Sure.
And I'm determined. Not because I think I'm better than all that. It's more so that I see other people doing it, so why can't I? There's just something I haven't figured out about myself or about, maybe my own knowledge about what the market's doing. Or maybe it's just finally waking up to what mentors like you and other people had told me, like a mini on a 50K, that might work for a while.
Yeah.
But it won't work. And then you try like on your webinar yesterday, you repeated what I've seen before, which is the 5 trades. Like if you manage it well, 3 out of 5 of these are winners.
Yep.
And the 2, if you just keep your stop loss manageable, you can recover from that because your win percentage now is 3 out of 5. So you're doing fine. Yep. And but to double in, like to double in, if you start with 1 mini and now you're too deep on a 50K, that can
things get out of control real quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And my stubbornness now, right? Like I'm not letting go.
And hey, now I have 2 minis. If this thing goes in now I have a ton of size. I'm really going to make some money.
And you know what might make sense is if I've got 2 and it keeps going against me, it might make sense. Maybe let's get 3.
Right.
I've gone way too deep with, especially with 50Ks that there's just no margin for error anymore. And then, I finally stop it. I'm like, okay, that was stupid, but there's no more margin in the accounts. And so then it's like, what good is this? I'm going to YOLO it. And that usually never works. So
usually never. Yeah.
You start over. But that was my journey, right? Learning that about myself, trying to decode my psychology and then apply. Again, finally giving up, like maybe I don't know better. Maybe I'm not that good. Maybe a mini is too big. Maybe they were right the whole time that trading 5 micros might just be okay. And I've now been able to have my accounts last longer. Like I mentioned before, like got 3 really quick payouts with Legends and they're like, okay, you're done. Like you're going to a funded account. Great. And I've had that account all calendar year. Haven't blown it up. I trade it with kid gloves. I'm a little bit hesitant with it, but I do trade it. And it has a balance. I haven't taken the balance out yet. And then the other ones that I typically have longer than I did. I'm able to hold them longer and get payouts from them, which was not my journey in 2024. And I had 1 payout in 2025 in January. And it took me all year to get my next series of payouts like in November and December.
Sure. Trading the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Whole time.
And I think that's important for people to realize, that this is a journey, a multi-year journey. And a lot of us come into it thinking we're going to be different and we're going to be special and we're going to figure it out faster than everybody else. And we get humbled generally pretty quick. But I'd love to hear the story of somebody who's stayed with it and you are learning, all of that experience in 2025 is probably as excruciating and frustrating as it was, had a lot to do with where you are currently.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's someone else who says this, but I think it's true. Every decision I've made, every step I've taken has put me right where I am now. And so I can't look back on it and say that any of it was regrettable. I wish I'd done some of it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, funny story, like I when I first discovered prop firms and tried to dip my toe into the NQ circus,
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed 20 Apex accounts. This is probably back in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and chipped away at them. My first tranche, my first set of 20 Apex accounts, I got to PAs. I'm like, I did it. This isn't that hard.
Right. Simple. I've cracked the code. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
rich.
crack the code. I've used that. It's going to be like 3 months from now. I'm going to, and
Yeah.
the next week they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically, in my experience, it was basically one, not really knowing what I was doing in terms of price action, and NQ can be ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
NQ enjoys reminding people on a daily basis who's boss.
Right. Yep.
That's what it is. It's just like,
Absolutely.
you think you know, you don't know.
Yeah. You don't know.
And but also too much size.
Mm-hmm.
I had too little experience, and I was using just ignorantly, or not, like you said, I'll be different. The rules
Right.
don't apply to me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
special. And I've
Right.
realized over these 3 years, I'm not special. In fact, I'm the opposite of special, right?
Yep.
I need to stay humble and realize the market reminds me on a daily basis that you don't know. We know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't.
Right.
You're along for my ride. I'm going to tell you where we're going. That
Yeah.
kind of.
I love that.
And so by just settling down, and for me that's sizing down, slowing down, trying to take more care with the accounts I earn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a journey. You earn these accounts, so treat them with the respect that they deserve, so that then I can get payouts, which I've started to achieve this year in a more predictive way than any year prior. And that was my combination lock.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit about these payouts specifically. I know you posted in the group that they're fairly sizable. So if you don't mind just kind of walking through the type of payouts you've pulled out over the last couple of months.
Yeah. So I've got my spreadsheet on my other monitor, so I'm looking up. It's because I'm looking at data. But over the month of March has been a great month.
Mm-hmm.
I did take payouts in January. February didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But February was like a rebuild. I drew down some accounts in January, and then had to get them back to above the payout threshold, and that started tipping in late February. And so then in early March, I started accumulating payouts because of that work I'd done in January and February. And I'm looking over this way now. On my whiteboard are all the payouts. I think I'm counting 1, 2, 3. I took 11 payouts in March.
11 payouts.
And they were all around $2,000 a piece. So when I get a gain, I'm taking a gain. I like Take Profit Trader because it's daily.
Yep.
And there were some days I like my wife was always asking, like, how was trading today? I was like, well, I took a payout yesterday and I had a great day. Like one day I was I remember on Take Profit Trader in March. I took a payout and probably like, I don't know, $500 per account. And the next day I had a $600 gain in every account. I'm like, well, here comes another $500.
Straight back.
So 2 days in a row. And that's what I love about that firm. They're pretty inexpensive. So I think $100.
Yeah. The no fee 42 and it's all in, no activation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the daily payouts once you get above that $2,000 threshold. So the threshold is fairly low.
And as a scalper, you don't have to worry about the intraday drawdown as much.
Correct.
The pro account. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my journey. And the payouts, sorry, I'm looking over here on my whiteboard. That was 1, 2, 3, 4 different firms.
Okay.
So 4 different tranches of accounts, basically, that I was able to extract money from the prop firms, and then put it to use for me, and just bolster my my income. But it felt good to have that kind of a month. I don't think April is going to start off as strong as March, but mostly because I've had a up and down couple weeks now.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to, if I can keep things going the way I have in March, February and March, that I'll have another good month in April. It might just be like the second half of April where things start, clicking.
Yeah, I love it. What would be something that you would tell traders out there that are listening to this interview? that have maybe they just blew up a funded account, they can't seem to do it. What is a piece of advice that you can lend them who are listening to this?
For me, it would I just don't give up. I don't want to give up. Just as an aside, this picture always comes in my head when I say something like that. There's an old movie. I'm older than you are, but a famous movie, Richard Gere, An Officer and a Gentleman, and there's a scene where he's being just worked to death by the drill sergeant, and the guy's like, "Why won't you quit?" The drill sergeant's like, "Why won't you quit? Why don't you just give up? Just give up." And Richard Gere's like, "Because I've got nothing else."
Yeah.
I've got nothing else. Now, I have a career. I do have something else. But I have this, don't quit. You lose. You only lose with trading when you quit. There is always something new to learn. There is always some insight to gain. And I would say, look, if I've recommended people to come to Drysdale from that other trading group I referred to earlier. I won't name it. Yeah. But I've posted some success there, and people reach out to me there like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Well, the truth be told, sir."
Yeah, right. I love
the success I'm seeing isn't because of this trading room.
Yeah.
The traders there have their own style, and they're very successful. It's just not for me.
Right.
I've learned more, and I respect Chris and Chuck's style because you're just calm, you're cool, it's steady, it's not a bunch of games and showmanship.
No, we're here to make money, right? And a lot of people, we're here to make money. It's work, as much as we love it. Don't get me wrong, we all love to trade, but there's work to be done.
Yeah, so I've referred people to Drysdale from that other team. I'm like, and I've told them, I'm not an affiliate. I get nothing for this, but I find if you're looking for what I tell them, if you're looking for something serious where you can actually learn something that you can apply, because if you can't apply this, well, then you shouldn't be a part of the room, firstly. And you should keep on your journey. That's what I'd say. Stay on your journey. You will find what works for you. If this isn't it, keep looking. There's a lot of resources. YouTube is how I learned a lot. And that's probably how I found Drysdale Trading Group. And I couldn't be happier that I stumbled on a YouTube video and I thought there's maybe something to this.
I'd like to do a quick pause here. If you're serious about becoming a consistently profitable trader and you want more than just free content, the Drysdale Inner Circle is where I work directly with traders at a much higher level. This is for traders who want structure, accountability, deeper system training, personalized feedback, and a real plan to improve, not just more random information. So if that sounds like you, be sure to get on the Inner Circle waitlist now. Spots are limited when I open it back up, and the waitlist gets first priority. Be sure to check the link in the description and put your name on it. It feels so good when you feel like you can kind of settle into a system and a strategy, because I did the same thing for a long time.
Yeah. My journey, my search is over. That's what I would say. Right. I know based on my psychology and trading styles are personal styles. So for me, I have my own style, my own preferences. Like I say, I don't like to be in the market long. I like to scalp, get in, get out, capture the gains, move on to the next thing. And I can take, I don't know, some days I'll take 20 trades a day, right? I'm not, because there's setups galore. Yeah. And especially if you're in a flow state where you're kind of figuring out the market. Okay,
market's playing nice. Yeah.
It's playing. It's not beating people up. Then I'll take a lot of trades, but usually those just small little bits, like 2 MNQ. Like I don't $10 at a time when I'm over a $200 or $300 goal per account. I don't want to risk giving that up, but I'll get another $10, $20, $30. Times 20 accounts. That's not bad, right? Why not? So if the market's giving, I'm taking. But look, this is something I learned that fits in my psychology. It's easy for me to see it, to visualize it on the chart. Whereas some things, I look at some of these gurus, I'm like, how do you even see that? How do you that fair value gap with this candle pattern? And then you go in when it closes the candle, and then you put your stop loss here. I'm like, I don't have enough. I can't think that fast.
And then it disappears as soon as you change the time frame.
Yeah, and I'm like, no,
there's that part too.
So I close those videos and I just move on because it's above me. I just don't understand it. And that's where you've simplified something that I knew about originally, VWAP waves. I knew about it, but you've applied, like you've mentioned, the auction theory, auction strategy, understanding what price is doing, understanding that this level is probably where the big institutions are, and they're trying to get it back up there so that they can force it back down again, or vice versa.
Yep.
And then seeing you have success with it, I'm like, all right, this I could probably do well enough. I'm not ever going to do as well as Chris, but I could probably do well enough to make this work.
I believe everybody has it in them. I don't think you have to be somebody special. I think you have to be committed, like you said, and you have to be willing to go through the journey, which takes time.
Yeah. Well,
I think those are the two biggest.
I've been pulled through the knothole backwards. So it is a journey. It's painful, but on the other side of it, and I need to stay humble. Yeah. There's a lot more for me to earn to pay back the cost. But
100%.
But now I'm hopeful that I've finally figured out something that I can use long term. I know on my bad days, it's not the system's fault. It's this guy. It's the guy in the mirror, right? Yep. I'm my own worst enemy still. It's not that the setups didn't work. It's that I took stupid setups.
That happens to be the same thing with me. And I wrote the system, and I still, we're imperfect. We're just being human. And, we're not wired to trade well. We have to learn to trade well. And in order to become a professional trader, we have to confront the version of us that is an unprofessional trader. And that takes time.
Yeah, it's the enemy within.
Yeah, very cool. So what's next for Eric the Trader? Do you have aspirations of going full-time one day? Is this always going to be a part-time gig? Tell me a little bit about your goals.
My goal is that I really want to have a good year. Everybody wants to have a good year. I've started off the year strong, and I've started off the year with some consistency. I would say another part of my journey is learning that I can build back an account. I don't have to blow the account. I can build it back. Like I took a couple accounts, like one of them's in drawdown. It's still below a payout threshold. It's my 150K. I did get a payout from Tradeify last week, and then I got stubborn. It was exactly the situation you talked about, but I wound up flipping it before it went fully, out. And I'm building it back. And I've learned that the experience of 2023 and 24 and 25 gave me the skills so that I don't have to just YOLO an account that gets drawn down. I can build it back. And if I have to focus on that account while I'm working on these 5 or 10 others, that's okay. And I have patience to recover an account that is in peril. So that to me gives me, I guess, confidence that my year will turn out okay.
Yeah.
That as I look forward into 2026, that I'll have, maybe not every month will be like March, but I'll have months like March. That should not. I don't believe this will be a unicorn month. I believe I'll be able to repeat this month. Maybe not in April, but maybe May or June or July, and then that's good. So long term, I do have an executive position at a software company, but if that evaporated, my objective would be that trading would be my full-time income.
Does sound like it allows you the flexibility to have both, though, doesn't it?
It currently does, because the company I work for is they're East Coast based. And I'm West Coast
so you could be up early,
Well, I block my calendar because they think, well, it's impolite to get meetings on Eric's calendar at 8 a.m. And I'm like, it's very impolite because I'm busy.
Well, that's all right.
So it works out. If it was a West Coast company, it would be a lot harder.
For sure.
I'd have less time to trade, which doesn't mean I wouldn't still see success, but I wouldn't see as much success because my window of opportunity in the market would probably be at most an hour. The other thing I've learned, especially over the past probably month or so, but certainly the past couple of weeks, I don't like the first half hour at all.
Yeah, it could be a bit much. A lot of fake outs. It could burst through levels.
So
I've found because it will respect levels enough to make you think that we should be taking setups. I'm like, there was a VWAP, there was a fade value, and it's like plays off to the tick, but it happens so fast and so aggressively.
Well, and I appreciate those moments. I've learned to just observe them. I observe, and then it builds my confidence. Like, okay, it is working. The market is obeying. It's just I just needed that to see it working, and then I have more confidence. But I find my most successful trades, which is odd because many people say the opposite. They'll avoid the middle of the day time. Like on the West Coast, it would be say like, I don't know, 8:30,
Yep.
8 o'clock to
so that 11:30, that lunchtime, going into lunchtime. Usually when I'm finishing up the stream, it's starting to die down pretty well.
I find that those setups that I'm looking for are there, and they're reliable for my 5 to 10 point scalps. So if I've just learned to just avoid the first 15, just I'm there to observe and report. And if I see the patterns, the price action with the VWAP wave levels, or the the initial balance levels, or whatever they might be, value area high, value area low, all the stuff you teach. If I see that it's obeying that, then I'm putting deposits in my confidence bank that when the setup comes again, I'm good to take it.
I love it. And that you're not alone on that. I also love the mid-time day hours. It's a lot more stable. It's a lot more reliable. The probabilities that it's going to hold key levels are stronger because there's just not as much volatility, and it creates a lot of nice scalping opportunity as it holds balance. So you're not alone in that. That's a popular sentiment when it comes to scalping. Yep. Very cool. Well, it's been so nice to hear your story, Eric. Really, we're excited to just see you watch your journey as you continue to grow and progress. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you in the group and seeing you succeed. And I want to thank you for sharing your success with me and with the trading community, because it's stories like these that I needed to hear them, right? I needed to see people succeeding because I needed to see other people doing it and achieving, at least getting payouts, and knowing that it can be done, and not just one, but more than one. It gave me hope. And then I started doing it too, So I appreciate your time and your openness to do that.
Thanks for inviting me on, and thanks, really, honestly, from the heart. Thanks for all you do. Like I said, I count myself lucky for finding you on the YouTubes. But for me and my psychology, what you and Chuck do, how you run the room, the fun you have, but it's not be too unserious or too goofy. Is really a fresh wind, and I really appreciate it. And I don't think I would have had this March where I drew out. I accumulated nearly 40,000 in funded gains, but I withdrew 26 into cash.
Yep.
I wouldn't have had that success but for your trading group. I can say that unequivocally.
Thank you, Eric. Well, it's so great to hear, and we'll keep working at it, right? And there's always tomorrow, and we don't get caps and gowns. There's no graduation here. We show up tomorrow, and we continue to apply and make this thing work. So thank you, Eric. Thank you so much for your time.